Hi guys, my name is Shola.
Hi, I'm Nina.
And thank you guys for joining us on Insecure Conversations. This is where we talk about the Black experience, dating, work life, everything in between. And we're just gonna bless you guys with some of our thoughts on just maneuvering through life and our brief years on this earth.
And connections with what we're seeing on Insecure, because it's so relevant to what we deal with day to day. And so this podcast is a place for you to continue that conversation and connection.
And for anyone out there that want a fan on Insecure, you want to get your recap every episode, we got you. This is the place. Come check us out.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
I think that a lot of things happen with friendships, relationships, work, everything else. But the first thing that stood out to me was the fact that Molly got in, interrupted Issa's little fling that she had going on.
True, and I never liked those friends. I've been him before. We just don't like those friends. You always we call them cock blockers. You know what I'm saying? We never like those friends. Even when our intentions are good, they still interrupt. Good intentions, bad decisions. I understand she wanted Issa to have a good day, but still, as a male speaking, I just don't like those friends. I don't like those friends.
Yeah, so do you think that Molly
Overstepped?
Yeah.
100%. 100%, because she only knows what Issa told her, and as everyone knows, you don't tell your friend everything that's going on in a relationship. So she doesn't know if Issa could have talked to him already before, invited him over there. So she did ask the question, do you know she here? But that's so many nuances with that. I think she did overstep, and just let Issa handle it. Gone are the days where we're adults now. We have to stop running this interference on behalf of our friends, because our friends, we gotta face it, they're not telling us everything.
Mm-hmm.
They lie.
It wasn't her place for so many reasons.
I think that's why Molly oversteps. What's your opinion? Do you think Molly overstepped?
1,000%. Because I completely agree with you that a female can say, is it wrong to call women a female?
But they are female, so no, it's not wrong.
But sometimes the way we do is
But you're not using it in a derogatory
this
term.
female over here.
That's some shade. We're doing it in the right way, so.
Well, let me put myself in Issa's shoes, being her. Molly did not do the right thing by saying, let me go and over. It was overstepping.
Pretty much.
And Molly also handles her male relationships different than Issa does. Mm-hmm. And so Molly is quick to cut people off. When we see later in the episode, she then go ring-a-ding-ding, back. Backing it up.
Right.
Let's, maybe I am interested, and she finds herself single. And so it just wasn't right. It was well-intended, but wasn't right. And I think that would have actually maybe even made Issa's day. Or maybe not. I can see why Molly did that.
You won't know.
But it wasn't.
You won't know now.
Yeah.
You won't know.
It wasn't right.
So I understand why friends are like that. Anita, Molly's A1 day one. So let's not get that twisted. Molly's A1 day one. She wants the best intentions for Issa. However, though, again, there's some times where I'm just there's some times where I try to rectify a situation, and then her friend does the same thing, impedes on my efforts, and then now I'm left with a bigger argument. It's instead of it being the next day, it's I haven't heard from you all weekend. It's well, your homegirl told me not to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Or your homegirl painted a picture you didn't want nothing to do with
that. That happened to you?
Yes. It happened to me once in college. I'm not gonna say the names because I think y'all had a class together, but
So you were trying to do something and somebody stepped in.
Yeah. So players fuck up. I did. I messed up.
So you're a player.
I'm just saying
how the saying
yeah.
goes.
So
okay.
I messed up, and then I was trying to rectify it, but then again, I guess the friend, those friends was you need to leave him alone. You always running back to him. He's still in this circle, whatever. So I guess her friend was fed up with me and her back and forth, and I was I did something when I can't really remember what it was, but I know I went over her place and they don't even live together. Mm-hmm. The same situation. It's I pull up, I'm why? I see the car in the driveway. I'm why is she over here? Mm-hmm. She don't like me. She's not my champion. She don't campaign on my behalf.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
So what happened?
And I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to call. I'm being pushed to voice like call forward, and I'm like, dang. So I'm like, okay, so hopefully I'm gonna knock on the door, and then she gonna answer. I knock on the door. Who answers? The friend. They getting ready to go out. She's upstairs in the shower, so she didn't even know that I came to the door. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna have a break and entering or trespassing. So she said what she said, and I went home. That was that. But I'm like, and then that was on a Friday afternoon, and then Monday was like, I haven't heard from you all weekend. And then I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Your friend didn't tell you that I came over here trying to, solve the situation. But that's cool. It all happens.
And it sounds like that all happened for a reason. And I also feel like, do you feel like age gives context there? Because I feel like in college that happened like bump, bada, bump, bump, whatever. But at 30, don't interrupt my vibe.
For real, that's what I said.
Or like 28 plus. Yeah. I think a friend shouldn't be intervening. But I don't know. Do you think age played a factor there? Like, was it more okay for that friend to have done it than for?
I don't think it's okay for the fact that we're gonna withhold truths about the person we're talking to. I don't care how long you've been best friends with your friend. Even with my friends, I can tell something. I'm only gonna tell my best friend what I want him to know. You know what I'm saying? He don't know that I can say, man, I'm upset with her, but I'm at that same night I'm pillow talking on the phone saying I miss her. So
they don't know the whole
thing at all. For that same reasons, that's why friends shouldn't interfere. Mm-hmm. I think you should know. She could let Issa know halfway through the movie. You still having a good time. You already here. Enough time has passed where he can't mess up this night. You know what I mean? But letting her know at the end of the night, and she also went about it wrong. She's like, "You're welcome," like she did her a favor. It's like, ooh, you know what I mean? Clue, context clue. She's not happy about it,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she could have let her know sooner, for sure.
That's it. Have you ever had that situation? Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it.
No. No. I think because of the way that I maneuver in relationships, it hasn't ever gotten that.
Don't have problems. We hear be more like Nina. She never has had that problem.
Not that problem. Not no problems.
Okay, cool. So moving on Molly's character again. So she, several times throughout the episode, she has this thing where she's overstepping. I think that's becoming a theme throughout her character. It's like she did that with Issa. She's doing that at work. And her how she's maneuvering at work is kind of interesting to me because she made the comment just like in my last job. So my question is, climbing the corporate ladder, is it a different ball game to be played when it's a white majority company, or if it's a black company? Is it the same principles? Is it the same strategy to make it to the top? I'm speaking because I only know from a male's perspective, and I have no ignorance. So I want to ask you, a black girl, is that the case?
I think that seeing Molly going through that has been an interesting perspective, but honestly, it's a bad question for me because I haven't had to climb any ladders, and maybe we shouldn't publish this, but I've just been very blessed at my job. I don't have experience with that. A lot of people like you post grad have applied to multiple different jobs.
Right.
I did Teach for America, and so I was placed in a job to serve children education, which is something I didn't go to college for. I have 2 degrees, and then continued on at a school that I really love.
But you don't find you don't have males trying to pigeonhole you to a certain position.
Teaching is a female-dominated
there you have it.
Profession.
Molly's in the wrong field. No, let me stop.
I can't speak to that at all. I can't speak to that at all.
So yeah, and I think that's just how that's the mindset of some men in certain situations. But I will ask you this though. So this episode, we've seen a lot of ghosts, as the title episode talks about, pop up. Like Homeboy did, what you call him, he popped up, Lawrence popped up, Molly reached out to the Asian dude, even the dude she thought was gay, he popped up, the friend at the cemetery thought she ran into 2 of them, so it's a lot of, it's spooky now, it's a haunted house out there, you feel me? So, what is cordial? Let's try to define what cordial really is, and how we're supposed to interact with someone we even if it was briefly or if it was long term, like had history with. So what is cordial and what's the do's and don'ts?
Yeah, I feel like when I hear the word cordial, I even think about like the workplace. And if you have a job, if you're a professional, then you already know the cordialities of like we work together, or like I know how to say hi, bye, how are you? And I think that's what you extend to exes in places like that, like hi, bye, how are you type stuff.
So not like Lawrence, you can't sit down and watch this movie with me. Like we done.
Of course it depends. Of course it depends. As I like really back in. I think it's layered. To be honest, personally, I don't really have experience with run-ins like that. It's more so like pop-ins. Of course, you know, guys.
Yeah, we like to pop in.
You keep coming back.
Jack in the Box.
Surprise!
For
You're
real,
still here.
For real.
And it depends on where you're at in your life. I think for a female, for a woman, but I think you handle it. You handle it with grace.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? I wouldn't expect anything from it. My life has moved on. Hope all is well.
Okay, plot twist, because we see in the episode that Lawrence is talking to the girl that Issa's like using to network and put on her show. I just thought that was brilliant writing. However, if Molly didn't interfere with Buddy coming over with the flowers and Issa, like they had a chance to like rectify some things, do you think she would have let Lawrence sit with her during that movie, or it would have been like, hey, bye, you keep it moving?
I think they have a friendship there. Like it's been years, and so my first response should have been that like it depends, because it does. And hopefully no matter what has happened, what they had, like I felt that was love. The way he sat down, like that's love. Like that's what I would hope any relationship to get to. And then he had bought her the candy and stuff like that, and that just shows that like they had something beyond the intimate relationship of girlfriend boyfriend thing, and they had a true friendship.
I agree, because I'm keep thinking from the stance that Issa's not talking to somebody, but Lawrence is dating somebody, and he still was cordial to that level with Issa. So I guess it's something to like maneuver. You gotta.
It takes time, and it seems like they both like had their time to process it and beyond it. Because she didn't go home and it was talking about. So Lawrence gave me the candy, like, no.
Yeah, and Lawrence did tell his dad, he's like, no, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, like don't get it twisted, like.
Yeah. Do you want them to get back together?
I'm Team Lawrence, all day, every day. I'm Team Lawrence, so whoever he ends up with, I'm good. I really watched the show for him, so I'm Team Lawrence. Yeah.
Do you see yourself in him?
I did. First couple seasons, I did. Actually, no. Like I think we have we've grown parallel to each other, like complementing to one another.
Mm-hmm.
I've been the one working on grinding, like working on the idea, and then like having not necessarily being the breadwinner relationship, but I've been the one to like persevere, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So I feel him on that front, and it's interesting because Issa was telling him like, hey, I'm trying some stuff out, I'm dealing with a lot of rejection. It's like literally that's what he would come home and tell Issa, like, nobody wants this app, but I'm gonna keep grinding. And I guess that's why he looked at her like, oh, so now you understand what I was going through before when I was trying to build something. So
that's true. I thought it was interesting that the episode started that way, of her like keep trying, keep getting at it, and it just spoke to that like entrepreneurial grind. Have you had any like?
Yeah, I'm drinking for
I respect that she put that in an episode, because I think we're on Instagram, we're on social media talking about like grinding and boss and all of this stuff, but there's rejection tied to it. And so can you elaborate on like your experience and or how you get through that?
It's the highlight life. It's the highlight reel. I always say like Instagram, we only see the highlights now, even in like on SportsCenter, ESPN, they only show you the good plays. For me, I got a ton of it. Like I've been security, I've been trash guy, I've done it all. And it's also everything, every job is just a stepping stone to something you want to be. Either it frees up some time or it frees up some money so you can fund like your goals.
Does it feel like, when you say stepping stone, it seems positive, like it's a stepping stone. Does it feel like that in the moment?
If you're aware of what you're doing. So a lot, like, there's been times where I took on a second job or third job and I didn't put an end goal in sight. I was like, I need more money, but I never put a goal on like, I need $1,000 more then I can quit this job. So that job lingers on for like 3 months, half a year, a year, and you wonder why you're miserable, even though you have this job that you said you wanted. Is because you're not seeing it as a stepping stone. You're just seeing that it's another 6-8 hours out your day. But I think if you go into like, once I went into like jobs saying, okay, I'm gonna do this for 6 years, I'm gonna do this for a year, gain this knowledge, gain this experience. Now I can deal with it. Now I know it is a stepping stone. But sometimes when we're just going about life like without a plan, saying I need this job because I want more money, but you don't know how much money that is or how long you need more money for. Yeah. So at the time, no, it did not. It definitely didn't feel like a stepping stone. In fact, I felt like a trap. I just felt, sometimes I'm very miserable.
So it's important to have like goals and that.
I would say for sure.
Yeah.
It's important to say, okay, let's say you like, I need a weekend job. Okay, what weekend? Is it Saturday, Sunday? Is it both days? And if so, how long are you gonna have this weekend job?
And your why and what's your goal?
Exactly. So now when you gotta work, when you gotta get up on Saturday morning while everybody's going out, you can like, okay, I know I'm just doing this to make the down payment on that house, to repay this college debt. It's good to have an idea of like, what you're using it for. Because if not, you're just going to be miserable on Saturday morning, and then you have no one else to blame but yourself because you asked for that second job.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's our lives.
Yes.
And
you're one of those.
I think that's a beautiful thing about this show is that like it's really showing Black people's lives, like the lives we actually experience.
Yeah. And most Black people, we have to have a second job. You know what I mean? But like you have Saturday school. It's
especially,
you have to have another form of income.
I think especially as a woman, especially if you just want more. Like, I am very blessed in life, but there's more to want. I have student loan debt. Okay, that's not even here or there.
We all got student loan.
Yikes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So something that stood out to me was the interaction between Issa and her fling, the light skin with pretty eyes.
We don't know if he left for a month. We really don't know his name like that. We'll Google it. We'll Google it. We don't really. He's important, but it's like, again, Buddy went goes for it. Exactly.
Cutie pie, playboy. Playboy. We'll call him Playboy. Guys, who knows? He might be playing. So I think that interaction stood out to me because when he came back, he was like, he came with the flowers. Molly turned him away. We talked about that, and I can connect what Issa was feeling there. Do guys really? What do guys expect? How do guys expect a female to react in that situation?
So
what are the options?
So I've been here before. Honestly. In one word, immaturity, right? You always hit that gray area in a relationship where you don't know how the other person's gonna take whatever you're dealing with because you guys are new. It's like it's not her job to bear your burden. If you're dealing with I think he has mental depression, mental issues, which is something kind of taboo, especially in the Black community to talk about. But I think it's one of those things where like, she can't deal with this. I don't want her to judge me. I'm just gonna handle it on my own and come back. I think his thought was he handled it the right way, but he's just like, bro, you just left me for a month, nothing. And guys don't really think about that because we're like, oh well, the little month of you not hearing from me, I just saved you from this much chaos and like just randomness. So. What guys be thinking is like, well, we doing y'all a favor, like we're gonna keep you away from our BS while we take care of it on our own. But then 9 times out of 8, girls are always like, you did not tell me. Like, why don't you tell me?
You said 9 times out of 8?
9 times out of 8. Yeah.
So every time.
So every time, girls are like, just let me know. Especially if someone you're interested in and someone who you want to at least have a future with, it's like, put that, like, let them know about that so they can make the decision for themselves and then carry on. So it's something I've done before. It is an immature thing to do. Right now, I bring my baggage to the front door. My baggage to the first date. Like, this is what I'm dealing with. Now, if you choose to go on the second date, that's between you, and you're going to help me carry some of this stuff. But I think a lot of it is just like insecurities where a guy's just like, I don't think she can handle this, or I don't want her to know this part about me. Let me handle this on my own. And that's why we go ghost.
Because even Issa responded with like, so you mean to tell me like you had a bad day, or like you was upset, and so that's why.
Yeah,
you didn't talk to me.
She did downplay it a lot. Like she did try my man like, yo, we had a bad day, which is how it comes off.
And then to be honest, when you connected it to like mental,
health.
Yeah, mental health.
Yeah.
And things like I didn't make that connection. I didn't see her downplaying it. I think it just opens my eyes to how men could be saying something but not saying the full, and maybe not even men, but in that to what you were saying, like how sometimes like what men say means so much more.
Yeah, he was being short too. He didn't want to come out and fully say like, hey, he was like, I was dealing with some stuff, I had to go back to Houston. He might have a baby mama in Houston.
He did just say dealing with stuff.
Yeah, he said dealing with stuff, very broad, very general.
Yeah.
So who knows what that could have been. So, but I whatever that stuff was, he didn't want Issa. He didn't want it affecting Issa. That's why he handled it on his own. Which is a very male ego thing to do. Like, I got it by myself, I'm gonna go over here, and you end up hurting the other person.
Yeah. To be honest, I literally was at recess with my students the other day, and one of my students had hurt their ankle. He's like, I'm gonna handle it like a man. 10 years old, which you're laughing. I'm sure you have been to this too.
Yeah, I have.
I'm just making connection to like when you said I got this, like a thing that has been. And it seems like it's just an over time thing. It's built up to that.
I think it's in our culture, like not in our culture, but in society. It's like, oh, men handle the thing on their own. You show a little emotion, you don't cry. But look, any successful person in a relationship will tell you. They will not be as strong as they are if they weren't with their significant other or their partner. So it's like, it's one of those things that once you know, you know. Hopefully our boy will figure it out. Hopefully he'll be around more so we can remember his name. By the way, I'm still Team Lawrence.
Yeah.
So
oh no.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I like Lawrence.
So dealing with that, what I've learned over the years in my short 30 years on this earth. I learned that
you are 30.
I will be 30.
You're not 30.
Flirty 30 is coming soon. Y'all stay tuned. Look for the invites in the inbox.
Cut that out. Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
But I have learned that don't take anything personal. Like, you don't know what people are going through. So, like with Issa, all those no's, with Buddy leaving and him getting his hurt right. Life is short. You don't know what other people got going on. Just like Issa has stuff going on. So, I think that's one of the things that I've taken away from the show, and maybe you can shed light on that. Maybe you can shed light on that.
I'm sorry, the way you're trying to hand it off to me.
Because you're often the person that I call to about anyway when I'm like, when something happens to me, I often call you anyway when we talk about like, okay, and then normally you preach. Oh, don't take it personal. We'll list the name of many books that we've read and say, oh, remember in this book it says this. So I think you're better at that. You have a different level of understanding on that than I do. Because I take stuff personal. I'm Petty McQueen. I'm petty officer shoulder. That's me.
I mean, and everything is okay. Like, that's okay. I think that life situations, we go through it to learn about ourselves and to learn a lesson. And so, Issa, for example, in that relationship, like, it feels very personal when she can get a response back from pretty boy with the pretty eyes. But really, just more so is like that wasn't for me. Like, it's like we go through something and then just learn, like, what should I take from this? What should I take from this? What should I take from this? And similar to the stepping stones that you feel confident in taking in the business world, I think we need to apply that to relationships. Like, that wasn't for me, and I take it as a stepping stone and learn and grow. And
I didn't think of that.
Like, sometimes you can have more confidence in different areas of your life. It's easier to take that, like, high road
Right.
with relationships maybe as opposed to the workplace, or workplace as opposed to relationships. And for most people, I would argue that maybe it's relationships, that it's harder to see the bright side. And maybe that's something from childhood and relationships with your parents. But that's like going left.
Yeah, that is deep. That's deep. Yeah.
And so, yes, in regards to ghosting, I would definitely argue, like, it's not something to take personally, but more so something to learn and grow from, because that's how we're all seeing the world.
True. So that's a very valid and accurate point. So for everybody out there, I know no one wants to be ghosted, no one wants to be egged or left on red, but it happens. But just don't take it personal. And that's something I had to deal with, that I'm dealing with. And that's that job that you applied for. That's the help that you asked for. That's the pretty person that you hollered at. You probably slid in the DMs and they seen it. But maybe they got something going on, just don't take it personal.
Or maybe they don't like you.
And then that's
be.
okay. That's
too.
okay, because it's not for you.
Amen.
Yeah, they leave you on red, it's not for you anyway. So I think, I feel good about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so cheers. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.